Hey everybody, welcome to day 4 of week 4, which is our last video in the Hearing God series, which is pretty awesome. So thanks for tracking with us through all 4 of these weeks, and I hope that this has been meaningful and instructive for you. I just have basically one last topic to cover, which is what now? Like, where do we go from here? How do we then move on from all of this? So here's a few thoughts for you. Okay, number one, what now? As you move forward, continue to build listening environments into your life. Just like Jesus in Mark 1:35, he actually deliberately created these spaces to listen, to talk, to move through all of this listening and hearing God's voice stuff. And so if we don't actually create time and space, we just might miss his voice in our life. We might not get that chance to struggle through it, to filter it, to apply those filters, to test it. So continue to do that as much as you can. Now, secondly, what now? Continue to equip. All right, so part of our calling, even if we don't feel like we've mastered things, is to actually teach others. So who is it in your life that you think you could maybe go do these videos with and help them? Or maybe you feel like you're at a point where I don't need the videos, I'm good to go. I'm listening to God's voice and hearing him. I can teach someone not only these principles, but these tools as well. Thirdly, I want you to keep experiencing. All right, so as you move forward, we can often take time to listen to God, even teach others. We can even hear God's voice, but if it doesn't result in obedience, we're never going to experience the fullness that God has for us and everything that he has for us. And so my longing, my hope, my prayer for you is that when you hear him, when you apply those tests, those filters, that you're obedient and actually do what he's calling you to do, to take those risks, to be bold, to be courageous, and actually to follow what he's saying to you. And then lastly, that community piece. What now? I would love for you to be in community and to track with others in this. Begin to introduce it to a small group or a group of other Christ followers that you track with and say, hey, what would it look like this time to actually start with listening for God's voice? Or what might it look like to pray, but instead this time, let's ask God first in some silence what he'd have us to pray for. Now, there's some other ideas. Hearing God is really a starting point for a lot of other equipping stuff here at Rock Point. So you've probably heard of the Deeper Course, Freedom Session, Full and Free, and these are all things that help us to walk through the deeper areas of life, maybe places of brokenness, pain, addiction, struggle. But what we found is that so often Jesus has something very important to say to us about those struggles. He has memories, things in our past, broken relationships that he wants to show us and to heal up. But if we don't know how to ask and we don't know how to listen to him, we might miss that. So listening for God's voice is this vital first step. So if you're thinking to yourself, okay, what now? Well, maybe now that you have some of these tools for listening, you can step into a course like Deeper or Freedom Session, any one of these, or even do some of that work for yourself and begin asking God, you know I've been struggling with anxiety. You know I've been struggling with depression. You know I've been struggling here, there, or anywhere in life. Would you please begin to speak to me about it and have that as an important primary topic in your relationship with God, in your conversations with him, and your listening. But I would encourage you to do that with other wise, mature believers. All right, so do this in the community of Christ so they can help keep you accountable and they can help you filter and test what it is you hear from God. Now, our last practicum before we finish up, I want you to simply ask God a question. God, what are you calling me to do coming out of this Hearing God series? And take some real good time on this, maybe 10 minutes. Sit, wait, listen, journal, and see what it is he might have in mind for you. Maybe it is a course here at Rock Point. Maybe it's a conversation. Maybe it's to build a certain type of relationship or friendship with someone where you can do this together. Who knows what it might be? But I want you to invite Jesus to speak into that instead of me just giving you a few options to take. So do that last practicum. I'm trusting, I'm hoping, I'm praying that He is going to give you exactly what it is you ought to do. And thank you for tracking with us through this whole series. Blessings on you as you listen for God's voice.